everybody, and welcome to Inspire Me Monday here on Power Poppy. I'm Allison Cope, and today I'm your hostess. And today we're going to talk about coloring our fabulous strawberries. This image is actually a small section of our digital stamp called Juicy Strawberries. And we're just going to concentrate on showing you how to color in one particular berry using Copic markers and a few other markers to help you out. All right, let's get started. First of all, we're going to start with an orange. This happens to be YR07. So let's begin our image with YR07. So without even worrying about the little tiny seeds, I want you to put down your base of color. Not only does this wet and prep your paper for more ink, it also aids in the whole blending process when using Copic markers. So don't be afraid to get in there and juicy up that paper. I'm going to go across the entire image, making sure to get all the spots that the berry is red. Of course, this would be a very ripe berry in comparison to something that is just beginning to ripen. Okay, next we are going to go and color along with our R14. And we're just going to deepen the color where our shadowed areas are. So I'm going to assume that this berry is got light coming in kind of from direct this way. So it's going to have shadow where Marcy has put all the little dots. She's kind of already indicated where those shadows would be on that particular berry. So using my R14, now it's very, very subtle shading. I'm actually going to go around the edges, pushing it in towards the highlight, because the highlight or the lighter area of the berry is going to be there according to the direction of my sun. So in order to deepen color, you can also go over with the same color. You don't necessarily have to go a darker marker, but you can do that. Could actually leave this berry very much colored with only 2 markers. Just depends on how many layers or applications of particular colors that you use. So even just using these 2, I've already shown a highlight area versus the area where my strawberry has less light. So I'm just going over the areas again and again, blending them in because they're so similar in color. Now you could take your YR07 again and just brush over those areas again, just to make that blend just a little bit smoother. See, it still remains lighter. So I haven't really darkened it, I've just smoothed out the lines. But we are actually going to take one step further and add a little bit more dark red. This is R27. And I'm going to use this fairly sparingly. Once again, I'm only using it in the darkened shadow areas. So basically where Marcy has put those little dots. Going around the edges. Once again, I can pull color up a little bit, like such. But again, I would go back to, let's go back to our our R14 and use that to blend. It just, you're not going to get as much an edge. That lighter color takes the dark color and pulls it into the lighter area. So now, see, look, already, that's just 3 simple colors. That's all it is. Now, if you look at a strawberry, these little seeds, and actually they're the plant's ovaries, and each of the seeds is technically a separate fruit that has a seed inside of it. So, yeah, strawberry is a very unique little fruit. I'm going to now kind of deepen those areas. So we're going to use an E19, and I'm going to go over those seeds. And don't forget the little teeny ones that are sticking on the outside. There's some little fellas that are sticking outside of our berry. Don't forget those guys. Like such. The nice thing about digital images is that you can blow them up to as big as you want. That's that wonderful thing about using digital images. Blow them up to any size. Now, because I've colored outside the lines here, I'm going to cheat and put another seed there. Okay. Looking a little bit deeper, a little bit more like a strawberry. And let's put this on our color chart. This is E19. Okay. Now, we can also deepen our shadow a little bit more with a C3. The C3 almost has a purple undertone to it. It's another great way to deepen shadows, because it just adds just a touch of deeper color without adding color, because it's gray. You're adding a gray tone to the image. So another great way to add shadow. Don't underestimate those grays. Another option for great shadowing is a BV31. It's another great shadow color. I use it quite often, but I'm not going to use it today. I'm going to stick with my C3. Alright, we are now going to go in, and I'm going to even deepen that seed color. So I'm going to use an E09. Now mine is very, very thick. It's almost like a paint. It's not my favorite color to use just because of the way it comes out of the marker, but I do like the fact that it's almost like paint. So I'm going to take my E09. It's very glossy. Probably because of its so highly pigmented color that definitely it's in the red family, so it's very, very thick. Just going over top of those to deepen my color, because the seeds are fairly dark on the outside of that berry. Alright, so our E09 is done. Now this one, I'm actually going to, because it is sticky, I'm actually going to take a piece of paper towel and just carefully, because I know it does have some wet spots, I'm going to actually remove some of the ink from them. I mean, you can already see I've displaced it off that. So you have to be very, very careful, but we can still keep going here. In order to show our next application, I'm just going to color in a little bit of our E19 color here. And I want to show you, this is a Jelly Roll pen by Sakura. And if I can get it to work. Sometimes if you take this to the back of your hand, warm up the tip with your body heat. There we go. Okay, so that's what we're going to use next. We're going to use our Jelly Roll. By Sakura. And this is a white pen, obviously. Now, we're going to start with the reflection off the seeds. because on a real strawberry, quite often they're very, very shiny, and so they actually reflect the light themselves, the little seeds. So I'm going to take and literally just draw down the length of the seed a reflection light. And just changing the side of the seed, because as the surface is rounded, the light is going to hit a different aspect of the seed. So and it's not going to be on every seed too, so you can skip a few. Or the lines don't have to be perfect either. I like that they're not bright white. The ones on the underside are going to have less reflection. Okay, remember, because the sun's coming in towards this aspect. So you can go in and go over them again. I find white ink is one of those things, either you love it or you hate it. You can go in and make them brighter white in the area on the top, and leave the ones that are in the background or off to the sides a little bit more muted. So you can kind of see them, but they're not as bright white as the ones with full reflection. Now, when you look at the seeds on the surface of the strawberry, they're usually indented. So they kind of are at the bottom of these they're almost like volcano-y tops. So to start them, if I can get my pen to work, go back to warm up my tip here. I'm going to draw, especially in the area that has the most reflection, I'm going to draw the little circles that are kind of at the top, because they crest at the top and then they go down into the depth of the seed. So I'm going to use my pen and just mimic those circles to begin with. They're not going to always be perfect. Okay. I'm going to just randomly doodle them in. The surfaces of strawberry are not even. And then as you go out to the edges to where the seeds are in those areas, you're going to keep in mind what side of the circle is now going to be highlighted. Where does that sun reach? And then I'm going to be even lighter. And I can even go in and take my finger and take some of the brightness or the concentration of ink off, so it's not as stark white. You do not have to do all of them either, once again. So for this side, we're going to see this arch of those dimples highlighted. Just a hint as the sides of our berry. And then I'm just going to take my good old finger, that's what they're there for, use my finger and reduce the concentration of white ink. Now I'm going to go back to my highlighted area, and like this one here, I'm going to build up my color. So I can either build up my color by doing more soft circles around to make those highlighted areas larger, or you can go in and spotty dot it and just kind of openly doodle like such. I just want to make the reflection area of those particular dimples a little bit more pronounced. So if you go and Google a strawberry, you'll see that in the area where it gets the most light reflection, you're going to have bigger circles of reflection. So I'm just going to go and use my finger and soften some of that ink. Go in and you just play until you're happy. Yeah. So yeah, pretty cool, eh? And all it is a couple of shades of red. I guess you can count that sort of as shade red, not really. An orange. A couple of shades of red. A deeper, darker brown. Kind of a mahogany color for the seed highlights. And then go back with your jelly roll and create those areas. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. I hope you give this a try. This will also work on the amazing raspberry images that Marcy has in the store as well. So the next time you grab one of these two images, grab your colors and try that white jelly roll pen trick, giving it lots of reflection. All right. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care, guys.